Time for another Soccer Down Here 1v1. And for this one, we go down to Southwest Georgia and catch up with our friends in Albany, where soccer is coming come 2023. And hanging out with us to break it all down, the man behind the plan of Sowegans Soccer Club, it is Josh Duckworth. Josh, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
Thanks for having me. It's excited to be with you.
All right, so let's just go ahead and start from the absolute beginning. What was the genesis of this idea? Where did it come from about having soccer in Albany on an organizational level like this?
Sure. Well, I mean, like most people in Southwest Georgia, I grew up without soccer. You know, we didn't have a high school soccer team until I think I was a senior in high school. So soccer really did not exist much. I think it did, but just not a whole lot. I played baseball and other sports. So, I got into soccer in 2010. It was put on the map for the first time for me, World Cup 2010. And I remember, I'm in ministry, and I remember my youth group that I started with. When I started, I was in youth ministry, and I remember all of the kids in our youth group playing soccer, which was so strange to me because, soccer was so foreign to when I was a kid. And so you really started digging into it and really just fell in love with the game. And, and I just so much that I love about soccer, but I really love the idea that, if done properly, each community, a community like Southwest Georgia, a small community like Albany can have a club that's theirs. So it's not just a minor league team, that's actually their club. And, I was living in Savannah before I moved back here back last summer. And, I went to a few of the Savannah Clovers games and, went to some Tormenta games. To see your scarf behind you there. Mm-hmm. So I tried to support those local teams. And I got to thinking, if I ever make it back home, which is Southwest Georgia for me, I'm from Sylvester, Georgia. And I said, if I ever make it back home, I'm really going to look into what it would take to do something like that in Southwest Georgia. And sure enough, last summer, I was sent here. I'm a United Methodist pastor, and I was sent here and really wanted to think of ways to invest in the community, outside of just the church. I love what I do every single day, but I also want to do something that, really tangibly, did something in the community. And, I had talked to family and friends about it. And, after their first initial comment, man, you're crazy for wanting to do this, I really got nothing but support. And, I've gotten a lot of support already from our community. A lot of people really excited about it. And so we've done a good bit, but we've got a lot left to do. But that's really, kind of where we're at now. We're excited to keep this thing going.
Well, and I know that from a high school perspective, I know that you as a Worth County Ram know what it means when, folks can be there to have something that is theirs. And, when you're looking at, the state soccer tournament in general, if we look at it from a GHSA perspective in years past, you've seen Thomasville make big runs, and Thomasville High School has really shown itself to be one of those places in the Southwest Georgia footprint that folks have been gravitating toward when it comes to high school. And, you have a lot of schools there in the Albany area, whether you're talking Lee County, you're talking about the Dougherty County schools, the Albany City schools, you're talking about a lot of things there right on the, Moultrie and Colquitt County, all of the stuff there in that Region 1 area, whether we're talking single A, double A, triple A, or 7A. And there are a lot of those spaces, I think, that really can gravitate towards something like this with this idea that you have there with Sowegans.
Yeah, we have, some would disagree with me, but we have probably some of the best athletes in the country right here in Southwest Georgia. We have elite high school football, powerhouse programs, and just have great athletes. And, and I think if we, and there are a lot of people here in Southwest Georgia working real hard in the soccer scene. Like you said, Thomasville has a great program there. Lee County is advanced real far in the high school playoffs, the boys team. So, we've got some people right here in Albany and that are, trying to do academies and just volunteers. So there's a lot already happening. And I think as we continue to add to that and make it available to more people at a higher level, and I think you'll just see Southwest Georgia. I think the soccer community will just realize how great the athletes are here. And I'm not saying we're the primary savior in that regard. Absolutely not. But we do want to play a part in it and give those high level players a platform to play at.
Well, and one of the philosophies that we've always had here at the network is rising tide lifts all boats. And when you have these areas that are, they're not as noticed, they're underserved, whatever under word you want to use that's attached to it, what you can do. And we've seen this where we've gone to places like Vidalia. And so you see how Vidalia has really turned the corner when it comes to Vidalia and Toombs County and how it is on both the boys and the girls side. You mentioned your time there in Statesboro with what they're building with South Georgia Tormenta. You mentioned your time in Savannah with the Clovers, and we see what goes on in the private schools in the region there on the coast. And so I think that there are a lot of these atypical markets that can be served with the growth of the sport. And we've just rattled off, however many, Vidalia, Statesboro, Savannah, there in Albany, Thomasville as well. And so I think that having that kind of an anchor there is key, once again, to the exposure of the sport, one, and to the growth of the game, two, because then you could have in a couple of years, someone who went to Lee County, someone went to Thomasville, someone who played there at Sowegans, who can sit there and say, yeah, I've played here and I've worked my way up the pyramid. I'm playing in I'm playing in USL, or I'm playing in another league someplace. That growth opportunity is there. And you've pounced on that right there. And that spoke in the wheel there in Albany.
Yeah, we've already had, players reaching out to us, just so excited to have this opportunity here in Southwest Georgia. And we chose for that purpose, we chose the name Sowegans Soccer Club because, we wanted this not just to be Albany's club, but Sowega, Southwest Georgia's club. We wanted to give all these communities in this area their team, their club. And we want them to have ownership in it, from Thomasville to Bainbridge to Cairo to Sylvester, all these small towns that may not have access to Atlanta United or some of these other clubs, but can certainly follow ours. And I think we've got an advantage because of just that. There are no minor league baseball teams around. There's no pro football teams around. There's a lot of elite high school football programs. But, I think we've got a chance to really, galvanize all of Southwest Georgia. And what we want to do with game days is we want to make it, exciting, not just for, soccer fans, but just any casual fan to have a good time on a Saturday night. So we're looking at how do you make something like that happen for all people.
Why the Gulf Coast Premier League? What attracted you?
Yeah, I think so. Once we decided that we were really doing this thing, and our next step was to talk to decide where we're going to play. What league are we going to be part of? And I talked to every single one of them. And really and had some wonderful conversations with league leaders in, all the different ones, USL, UPSL, NPSL, and talk with them gives me hope for the future of the game because they're just doing so much. And, but I think right now the Gulf Coast Premier League works for us for, I think a few reasons. Number one, I know that, Jonathan has been so helpful, who's over the Gulf Coast Premier League and giving me information. And, they are really wanting to build something special, as part of that NISA pyramid and getting all these clubs, together. And so he's really wanting to move further over to the east, closer to where we are. And I think hopefully we'll see more teams come up that are a little bit closer to us. So I really like the philosophy and the plan that they have. And we want to be part of that. But also we really like that summer, late spring, early summer time window. I just think that starting out, that's going to really work for us just because, May through July, we're not competing with the Georgia Bulldogs or the Lee County Trojans football games. We really, that's a window that we can actually have access to a field to play on and really, pull in some people on this Saturday night. So, but we really like where we landed with the Gulf Coast Premier League, and we've received welcome from the clubs there. And, we've talked to a lot of different clubs throughout the process, and, we're excited to be part of what they're doing.
Well, and you look at, you mentioned that I think that if memory serves, I think you would be the easternmost franchise in the Gulf Coast, and to be able to expand it back in that direction where you're looking at Pensacola and you're looking at a couple of teams in Louisiana, at least, and then the Eastern Division from the last
That's right.
recall. So you're talking Louisiana, Mississippi, you've got Fairhope, Alabama, and Mobile and Gulfport and all of that. But I think what you're able to do with you being that Eastern hub or that first piece of Eastern linkage to the Gulf Coast is it brings the game and it brings the league back in that Eastern direction. While, yes, they've got a great footprint there in the Arklatex and in Mississippi and in pieces of Alabama, your work there with Sowega gives it the chance to work its way back east.
That's right. And I mean, the first season, we're probably going to be making some long drives.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to do some overnight.
Talk to the schedule makers.
That's right. That's right. Maybe they'll be gracious to us, but we still, feel good about what what we've done. And it's not too bad. We're, driving up to Atlanta is not the easiest drive from here either. So, we're kind of in the middle of, no matter what conference or league we chose to join, we're going to have to drive a little bit, and they're going to have to drive to us. I'm sure that when some of the clubs or some of the teams in the Gulf Coast found out about us coming, their first thought was, that's going to be a long drive. but you're right. I think their vision is to see the Gulf Coast continue to expand in our direction. And if we can play a role in helping that happen, we will.
You mentioned your phone blowing up. What are some of the conversations that you're having? Are you seeing a bunch of odd numbers that have 011 attached to it that are dialing you up? What are these conversations like so far?
Yeah, it's been, yesterday was an amazing yet exhausting day for us. I probably still haven't been able to follow up with everybody that reached out to us, but yeah, I'm a local pastor here in Porterfield in a Methodist church. And I'm sure that my congregation heard about it for the first time, seeing me on the news last night and thinking, what's my soccer? What's going on? Mm-hmm. But yeah, there are people that, like I said, the initial response is like, what? But then they start to think about it and it's like, that's an exciting idea. I'm supportive. I'm behind it. And there genuinely is a soccer community here. I mean, it's not developed like it is on the coast or maybe in Atlanta just yet, but we have some great athletes here. And, and soccer is growing, and we want to be part of the solution to make sure it grows the right way and really, give the kids in our community a club to look up to and support. And that's really one of the big roles that I see with this team is, to give something the community is excited about and to create soccer fans with it. That's how I fell in love with the game. And I think the more people watch it and are a part of it and experience the excitement on a game day, I think the more fans you'll see.
Because I think at the same time, you want to bring in individuals who aren't just good athletes, but they're good stewards for what you want there at Sowega. And I think that that's just as important for something that's getting off the ground as it is. You want that first impression to be right. And you want that both on the field and in the community, because I know that you're looking for a specific kind of individual who will be playing and wearing the crest, but at the same time, front office and coach and philosophy and all those other pieces that fill in behind it.
That's right. And my role is going to be, marketing and taking care of the off the field stuff. And I'm going to have to find the right person that can do the on the field stuff, the coaching and the recruiting. And, I've been in talks with some local people here that might be interested in helping with that. No news for that just yet. And this is also going to be a nonprofit. So we're going to have a board of directors that's going to come alongside and support us and help us and give us guidance. And, so ultimately, I don't see this as my team. I see this as our community's team. And we've got to put the right people in place. And ultimately, we wanted to announce this a year in advance to just give us a full year to really do this thing right and get the right people on board. And so that's where we are. We've got a lot of work to do for sure. But the year's gonna go by quick, and we're excited to get things started.
Josh Duckworth, the man in charge of Sowega Soccer Club down in Albany, hanging out with us here at SDH for a 1v1 for another couple of minutes. And so you mentioned giving yourself that year runway. And this is a question that I like to ask a lot of folks who are starting with their franchises and know that there's that date of, okay, we've got to be on the field and it's results and matches. It could be on your phone. you could pull a stylus out of the bottom of it, write a note to yourself, stash it away, come back to it later. It could be a voice text, could be a refrigerator magnet board that's on your, right there on your fridge, that you sit there 3:00 in the morning when you're getting that glass of water. You sit there, you have an idea, you write it on that board, you file it away, and you walk away and come back to it the next day. Or it could be there in your office off camera as you and I are looking at each other, and could be one of those big 6-foot by 8-foot dry erase boards that's got a bunch of ideas and arrows going a bunch of different directions. When it comes to your to-do list, to make sure that you have everything in place in the Gulf Coast Premier League in 2023, where is it? And what do you think the next thing that you can cross off it is?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I don't have a physical board with things off, but I've got an iPad with probably 50 Word documents on there. And it would drive most people. That's just how I operate. Most people have a notebook with a plan. But when I think of something on the back porch, I just pull the tablet open and start chatting. But yeah, I think the next big step for us, and again, we are, down the road with conversations, is to announce where we're going to be playing at. And that's, going to be a big check off. And I hope to do that by summertime, just to go ahead and have that off the list. Bringing on a group on the board of directors is going to be vitally important. And to get them, get more advice on what we're doing, and get some different perspectives and connect to the businesses and those sorts of things. We also want to do something, we want to take advantage of the World Cup this year. We've got World Cup 22 coming later in the year, and they're playing England the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Like Friday. Yeah.
And so, that's right. So when you're tired of shopping for the day, swing by, and then we might have a watch party. We've got some cool places in town that might host us for that. So, we really want to build community and, we want to partner with some local charities. Our logo and our colors all reflect sort of the beauty of our part of the world here. Albany was known as the artesian city because of just the water resources we have here, and the outdoor resources, and the forests and the woods. It's just a beautiful place to live. And so we want to partner with people who are working to care for that creation and those types of things. So yeah, we definitely want to get out into the community. We don't want people to see us the first time, this time next year on the first game. And I have a unique place in the community, being that I'm a pastor here, which I'm going to try to utilize, and because I want people to see this as not as an outreach to the community. When I moved back here, John, I saw so many people that were doing so much already in our community to try to make it what it can be, because we have so much potential in Albany, and there's so many people on the ground doing so many awesome things. And really, I just want this to be part of that. I just want them to join in with our folks, great people here, and see if a team that people can get behind and be proud of can be part of growing our community.
And you mentioned the logo, and it is a drawing card, because yes, it's blue and green, and those are obviously two of the colors that you get to see a lot of in Southwest Georgia. But an alligator snapping turtle, how did you come up with that?
Yeah, well, I bounced around, with different ideas. I wanted something that was, representative of Southwest Georgia, and began to look into some creatures in the Flint River that, really, was prominent there. And the alligator snapping turtle is one that is prominent in the Flint River, and it's a fierce-looking turtle. Whenever the guy who did a wonderful job creating our crest, made it, I said, you've got to make it look like a fierce, mean turtle, because you don't really think of, when you think of turtle, you don't think of mean. But if you Google one of those things, they're certainly scary looking. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to make it indigenous to the community, and but it's also something that was unique. And also, turtles is, if you ride around Albany, you see these big stone turtles all throughout the city. So it's already part of the identity here. And so we just kind of wanted to add to that, and make sure this club is the community's club.
All right. So for those that want to take part in what's going on there at Sowegans and keep up to date with everything going on there with you, with the club, as things continue to work their way forward, because the 2023 season will be here before you know it, especially as someone who's got 50 different Word docs opened up on his iPad. How do folks stay in touch? How do folks reach out to you? How do they keep track of everything going on down there in Albany?
Yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody interested in knowing more about our club. We have a website, Sowegans SC.com. You can go there and you can find all the links to all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and we'd love for you to connect with us that way. And we also have an email there. If you just have some questions and just want to check in with me, just want to get coffee with me and talk a little more about the club, I'd love to take you out for coffee. That is SowegansSC@gmail.com, I think. So you can go check just to be sure. But yeah, reach out to us, connect with us, and we'd love to get to know you.
Follow along on social media. Josh, great to catch up with you. Congratulations on the birthing of this franchise down there in Southwest Georgia. One of the cool footprints here in the state of Georgia and here in the Southeast, where I think a lot of noise can be made. And you're right there in the middle of it with the alligator snapping turtles and the blue and green of Sowegans Soccer Club. Josh, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1. We keep an eye on you down the road.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.